Good morning or afternoon, we honestly don't care. Welcome to the introduction of square roots, or the learning to square roots. If you aren't here for this, please leave the room, even if your teacher tells you not to. Thank you very much.
Lesson 1, guys. Perfect squares. Alright, now we need the definition of a perfect square. What is a perfect square, you might ask? Well, a perfect square is the product of a positive integer multiplied by itself. These perfect squares are numbers such as 4, 16, or 64. Now you can see they can all be factorized down into two positive integers multiplied by itself. Now what about root 24? Well, first we gotta prime factorize it. But before you watch this video, you should already know how to prime factorize. And if you don't, please leave the room right now and go watch a prime factorization video. Now we can see that once we prime factorize 24, it becomes 2 times 3 times 2 times 2. So we have root 24 equals the root of 2 times 3 times 2 times 2. So since we have root 24 equals to root 4 times root 6, we can simplify root 4 to 2 and multiply it to the root 6.
Okay, time to simplify. Let's start with root 28. Now, we always start with the prime factorization. The prime factorization of 28 is 2 times 2 times 7. Since we know that 2 times 2 is a perfect square, we can express this again as root 4 times root 7. But since root 4 is a prime factor, we can do 2 root 7. Okay, now to go to the second question. Root 75 is root 25 times root 3, which is eventually 5 root 3. Now to rationalize the denominators. So first we're going to multiply root 3 over root 3 because that's just multiplying 1. So if we times root 3 times root 3 over root 3, then the denominator becomes 3 because root 3 squared is 3. And the top is just 7 root 3. That's how you rationalize denominators.
Alright, cube roots. Now a cube root is basically reversing the process of cubing a number. So 1 cubed equals 1. So if you cube root 1, it becomes back to 1. 2 cubed equals to 8. Now if you cube root 8, it'll be back to 2. If you cube root 27, it becomes 3 because 3 cubed is also 27. Now, if you don't know what a perfect cube is, I suggest you get out of the room right now and study on it, or else you won't understand a thing what I'm talking about.
Okay, now to get into simplifying cube roots and other roots. Let's start with the cube root of 216. If you prime factorize 216, you get 6 times 6 times 6. And since that's a perfect cube root of 216 is 6. What about the fifth root of 64? Is fifth root 32 times fifth root 2. If we simplify this even more, we get 2 to the power 5 inside the fifth root times fifth root 2. So the 2 to the power 5 inside the fifth root is just 2, and now we just get fifth root 2, so it's equal to 2 times fifth root 2. Now to get to the 7 root 23 something 0. So you can simplify 7 root 23 times 7 root 10 to the power 7, which is 10 to the power 7 root 23.
Extended questions, and we have 2 of them. How unfortunate. Now, we need to know this formula. A squared minus b squared equals to, in brackets, a plus b multiplied by, in brackets, a minus b. Now, why is this important? We want to rationalize the denominator, so we can use this formula and multiply this question by root 2 minus 1 over root 2 minus 1, which doesn't do anything to change the value of it. Now we simplify the denominator using the formula above, which we get 2 minus 1, and then on the top, we'll get 2 minus root 2. So if we simplify this even further, this just becomes 2 minus root 2. Now moving on to the second question. This should be easy now, except I kind of messed up my writing when I wrote the equal sign, so just ignore it. Change it into a multiply sign. Now we, same thing, multiply it by root 3 minus 2 over root 3 minus 2. And now we simplify using the formula above. Now we get root 3 minus root 2 squared over 3 minus 2. Now if we simplify this even further, this just becomes root 3 minus root 2 squared. Now what is this, if you can wonder? Now this is just a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So if we simplify this down, this becomes root 3 squared minus 2 times root 3 times root 2 plus root 2 squared. Now, if you simplify this even further, and if you know how to do it, this becomes 3 minus 2 root 6 plus 2. Now, what is this? It just becomes 5 minus 2 root 6, and we got our answer.
Now to get to the final question. If a equals root 3 plus 1 and b equals root 3 minus 1, what is a cubed minus b cubed? Now, knowing, since we're all math geniuses, a cubed minus b cubed is a minus b brackets cubed plus 3ab brackets a minus b. Since using this formula, we can say that root 3 plus 1 in brackets minus root 3 minus 1 cubed plus 3 in brackets root 3 plus 1 times in brackets root 3 minus 1.
But before we move on, we need to follow some simple steps to simplify the question.
Times in brackets root 3 plus 1 minus root 3 plus 1. This is just using the formula. Okay, to simplify this, so we just cross out the root 3, which we just get now, 2 cubed plus 3. Now we simplify that too, 3 times 2, and if we simplify that also, we just get 2. So 2 cubed plus 3 times 2 times 2, which is just 12. So you just get 20. Easy peasy.